Good morning, everyone. This is Dana Howell, and I'm here doing a slightly different format than what I usually do on camera, and that is a product review. So today I'm going to be reviewing some products that were sent to me by Redgrass Games. Right now they have a Kickstarter going on for their ergonomic painting handle, which I haven't even opened yet. You can see it's for review purpose only. So I'm going to review it. So before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about Redgrass Games as a company. So they're most well known for this wet palette that I've been using for a while. And I guess they also saw that I've been using their wet palette because they reached out to me and wanted to send me some free products. So I've been using some of their products for a while that they've sent me, including their old painting handle and some of their brushes. I bought the palette myself, so this is not a sponsored video, but it is a video where they've sent me free products, and I am a fan of the company. So it's not an entirely unbiased review, so let's keep that in mind when I'm talking about this stuff. So right now they're having a Kickstarter for their painting handles. This is their old painting handle, which I've been using for a few months now, and I feel is quite fun. I especially like the rotating feature and the shape of it. Feels quite nice to hold. I just wanted to say I never thought that I needed a painting handle. I'm used to using something like this. You'll see in a lot of my videos I just use a block of wood with some poster putty on top. But after using these handles, I actually much prefer to use these. So this is typically what I use now. So it's not an essential product that I would say you absolutely need to rush out and get, because there's a lot of other products that you might want to buy first, such as a nice wet palette or nice brushes. But if you are in the market for a painting handle and you're thinking about buying the Games Workshop ones or other ones, like, I don't know what other ones are out there, I would definitely recommend these, and I think their new Kickstarter has an interesting proposition, which is that the new ones have swappable caps. So theoretically, you could just get one handle and buy a whole bunch of the caps. So you wouldn't actually need to spend a lot of money on like 10 handles if you're painting a unit or whatever. So, and they also have a magnetic feature. So the caps will, or the handle will stick to your desk, which is kind of interesting too. Okay, so I'm just gonna open this up and go over it really quickly. See, it's for review purpose only. I know I don't typically do review videos on this channel, but this sort of video takes me only like an hour to put together. Probably it'll take me another hour to edit, versus my other videos take me about 50 hours to make. So if you do like this format, I have lots of products I can review. So let me know in the comments if you do like this format, because I can do a whole bunch more of them. If you don't like it, also let me know. If you want me to put these on a separate channel, let me know about that too. Okay, so let's take a look at the product. So yeah, it has this magnetic feature. So the idea is that you would put this on your desk and then this would snap right onto it. And it has one of the removable caps. It has the mounting putty, which is basically just poster putty, but in a nice color. Okay, so yeah, the thing I'm most interested in is the swappable cap situation. Okay, so it's that's cool. So if we were painting a bunch of figures, which we are right now, we could mount one of them onto here. And then just swap them out for another one. So, I mean, it's a cool system. I think it's pretty cool. I think if we're looking at it in terms of value, right now on their Kickstarter, they have, let me take a look. It's 12 euros for the basic handle, which I think doesn't come with any additional caps. And then it's 26 euro for the handle and 3 caps. But I think the real value is the level at 32 euros, where you get the handle and 9 caps, which is like a full unit. And then they also have, it's like 42 for 13 caps. So that's like what, like 50 US dollars, something like that. So yeah, I think it's like the basic handle. I would probably not pay 12 euros for just the basic handle, although it is a nice handle. But I think the value of this comes in the idea of it as a complete system. Like I would love to have like 30 of these caps and maybe 2 or 3 of the handles, because I could really picture that being a useful sort of painting method, having like a whole bunch of these and then you just swap them out and then you do your painting. So yeah, I'm planning on backing the Kickstarter. I think at the level where you get 13 caps for 42 euros, and I already have 2 caps, so that'll give me 15 caps, which is about the maximum amount of miniatures I paint at any given time. So I'm definitely planning on backing this Kickstarter at the 42 euro level, which I think is the maximum amount. And yeah, if you're looking for painting handles, I would encourage you to take a look. So with that out of the way, I want to go over some of their other products, which I really like. So I think my favorite product from Redgrass Games is actually their wet palette. And I'll tell you a few of the things I like about it. So the wet palette I actually bought with my own money. This was not something they sent me for free. And I've been using it for about 6 months now. And I really like it. It's literally just a wet palette. It's not a lot different than the Masterson palette that you might be able to get at an art store. It's just really well made. So I feel like that's kind of the appeal of Redgrass Games as a company, is they just make really, if you like products that have a nice aesthetic to them and that aren't just like the basic looking product, I recommend them for that. Like if you want to have, if you're the kind of painter who likes to buy things like art supplies that are pretty, I think they do a good job of that. I also like that it has these little, it comes with these dry palettes for the side, which like magnetically attach. I like that it comes with the pre-cut sheets of like parchment paper, or whatever kind of paper this is. Because prior to this, I was using parchment paper and you have to cut it out every time and make sure it's the right size. And I found that having just a bunch of these actually saved me a lot of time and encouraged me to change my palette more often. At the bottom of it, it's just a like foam, piece of foam, I guess, which is, it's a piece of foam. And yeah, so I really like this wet palette and I use it a lot. It is more expensive than the typical Masterson palette, but I feel like it's only, if you're looking for a palette that will serve you in the long run, and if you're looking for something a lot bigger, like you can sort of see the size of this palette versus a squig. It's quite a large palette. Then I do recommend their palette if you have extra money to burn. If you're wondering why I have copper wire in here, it's because it prevents mold. That was a tip that Vince Venturella mentioned on Twitter, which I found pretty helpful because I guess the copper prevents the growth of mold. I don't know the scientific reason for it, but I keep these pieces of copper wire in here for that purpose. And I haven't had any problems with mold so far on this palette. Whereas my Masterson palette did have a mold problem for sure after a while. So I definitely recommend their wet palette. If you have a lot of extra money, it is a little bit expensive, but I think it's entirely worth it. It really makes my experience painting a lot more pleasant versus the Masterson palette, which is just a big ugly thing I have to have on my desk all the time. So yeah, and I also they also sent me these brushes a few months ago, which I thought would just be like, I don't know, brushes, I guess. But they're actually really nice brushes, and this has become my main brush that I use pretty much for everything. This is their number 2 brush. So I find I really like this brush for a couple reasons. It's really long, so the paint often doesn't get caught up in the, what do you call that? I forget what it's called. The bottom part of the brush, where if you get paint in it, it ruins the brush. So it's lasted me quite a while, and it still has a pretty fine tip on it. Probably noticed in my recent videos, this is the brush that I use because it is able to maintain a pretty good tip even after using it for probably over 100 hours now and not cleaning it as much as I should. So yeah, I really like their number 2 brush if you're looking for a good main brush to paint with. I did not get as much use out of their, what is this, 2.0, the tiny brush. I didn't really end up using this at all. And that might just be my painting style, that, I mean, I can get the same fine tip out of a big brush, so I ended up using the big brush more. I don't know. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. That's my review of the Redgrass range. I think that's pretty much their entire product range. They also have some hobby clippers, which I haven't reviewed yet. I'm sure they're wonderful though. And they also have a smaller version of this palette, which I wouldn't recommend. I think it's a little bit too small to get much use out of. So if you're gonna buy one of their palettes, I would go for the big one. Yeah, so check out their Kickstarter. I'm gonna put the link down in the description. Again, this is a honest review. I haven't been paid to do this. I just am a big fan of their company and their products. And yeah, thank you for sending me all the free products, Redgrass. And yeah, I'm going to get back to working on Hobby Basics 102, which I've been working on for probably too long, but should be done soon, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, have a nice weekend.